I must warn you, some listeners may find the following content distressing, so please use your discretion. So we're talking about the Toowoomba Hospital and the maternity ward and the number of complaints that are coming out of there and the mums that no one seems to be listening to. And what we know is one baby dead, one with brain damage, one with a sliced ear, mothers being restrained by security because they didn't believe the mum was in labour, another baby with a fractured skull, and another first-time mum that claims she's been the victim of obstetric violence and police intimidation. This is happening in Toowoomba, beautiful country town here in southeast Queensland. Goodrich invited us into her home yesterday in Toowoomba. She's 35. She gave birth at Toowoomba Hospital at the end of November. Her beautiful baby, who we got the pleasure to meet yesterday. And I've had 16 hours to process this story, and it's just heartbreaking. Talk us through what happened to you at Toowoomba Maternity.
On the 20th, I had a antenatal appointment scheduled. That day I was feeling like I was going through Braxton Hicks. Went to the antenatal appointment, told the antenatal doctor there that I think I'm going to have this baby soon because I feel Braxton Hicks, but it feels like they're getting stronger and stronger. And she put me on the bed, felt my belly, and she's like, no, you're in labour. Contracting, I'm going to call maternity. Called maternity. They wheeled me up there in a wheelchair, and they said that they needed to take a urine sample, and they did that, and it came back with a severe UTI. Now, I didn't know that I had a severe UTI because I'm asymptomatic, where I don't show signs.
Right.
And because I was radiating pain around the left-hand side of me, they were like, we suspect you of passing kidney stones. And so started to treat me for kidney stones, suspected kidney stones.
Even though someone rang them ahead of time and said, I think she's in labour.
Yeah.
So they just ignored that advice.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
And then they got up there and said, we're going to treat you for the pain, yada, yada, yada. My midwife ended up coming up and she was like, I'm concerned about the pain that Chloe's in. I think that
What was this pain? What out of 10?
10 out of 10 would not recommend.
Oh, okay.
It felt like I was 10 centimetres dilated.
Okay.
And I've birthed 2 children naturally, so I know what that feels like.
Yep.
Then they finally allowed a bedside ultrasound to be conducted, which was not written on or in my records.
And what were those results like?
Well, they did it as a bedside one, so it's a portable machine.
Yep.
Apparently they don't save the data.
But they write those up on your patient form, right?
Well, they're supposed to, yes.
And they didn't write it?
They didn't write that it had been conducted.
So did they tell you how it looked?
Couldn't find not one single kidney stone, but still persisted on telling me that I was passing kidney stones with no medical evidence that I was. The other doctor, she come in and said, oh, we've booked you in at 8:30 in the morning for an abdominal ultrasound. Imagine the feeling of hot molten lava on the inside of your gut.
No, I couldn't imagine it. Let's fast forward to the next morning. So 8:30 in the morning,
No one came.
No one came. So you didn't have an ultrasound at 8:30 in the morning? Even though it was booked in?
Yeah. The antenatal doctor and one of the doctors from the maternity the night prior came in at around about 9ish, and they were like, so how's your pain? And I'm like, 10 out of 10 would not recommend. And they were like, how are you feeling? And I'm like, I can't feel my baby move. Okay, well, we'll send someone up to monitor you and stuff like that. That didn't happen until about 10:30.
So no ultrasound,
no.
And you had to wait an additional 2 hours. That's not good enough. And you're in 10 out of 10 pain and you can't feel your baby moving.
Yep. And then once they came at about 10:30 and they put the CTG monitor on me,
yep.
They were like, we need to go now. And they rushed me off to theatre.
So you're rushed to surgery,
yep.
Emergency surgery.
Yeah.
You give birth, cesarean.
Cesarean. They knocked me
cesarean.
out.
They knocked you out.
They knocked me out. I was not awake for the whole thing because they didn't have time for a spinal tap. They didn't have time for an epidural. Nothing. It was
full on emergency.
Full on code blue, life or death.
So you're knocked out. You give birth. to little Everleigh.
Yep.
You wake up, what are you being told?
I'm in recovery at that point, and I'm hearing one of the paediatric staff on the phone saying, "You're going to have to walk me through it. I don't know how to hook the oxygen up."
To Everleigh?
Mm.
What?
And then another
I'm
nurse
in
came.
shock.
Then another nurse came over and took the phone off her and said, "What does she need?" Punched it in. She was on the phone to Brisbane. This other nurse, I've got like all the time in the world for her. If I find out who she is, I'm going to give her the biggest hug.
Yeah.
Because if it weren't for her, like, it could have been 10 times worse. My daughter wouldn't be here.
So at birth, Everleigh
Was born dead.
was born dead. What caused her stillbirth? What happened?
Not early enough intervention and them not listening. They didn't listen the night before when I was telling them this is not kidney stones, something is wrong. What was actually happening was I was having a placental abruption.
So just to take me through that, you lost a lot of blood internally. Is that what's happened?
1.5 litres of blood internally, to the point that when the surgeon cut me open, I didn't bleed.
And did that cause Everleigh to drown?
She was internally drowning, yes. Not enough blood and oxygen to the brain. That's what.
I'm so sorry to hear that. I really am. I'm shocked by that. So is there a path to recovery at all?
It's unclear.
Right.
I mean, how long's a piece of string?
Yeah, I know, but there's hope, right?
There's always hope and there's always faith.
Yeah.
And I hope to God that, you know, with all the work that we're putting into Everleigh every single day, with physio and with like the OT stuff, so fine motor skills and stuff like that, while we're at home waiting for the system to pull their finger out, which they did yesterday, finally. That was our first appointment with OT and physio and speech after months of waiting.
This is like 10 weeks
Yeah.
since her birth.
Yeah.
10 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And time is so crucial, right?
Mm-hmm.
10 weeks. It's incredible, isn't it?
They're missing the golden window of opportunity to create those new neural pathways, but I'm not going to sit on my butt and just do nothing. I'm not going to sit there and twiddle my thumbs. I will make sure that she is not going to be a vegetable, basically.
Yeah.
Like, and don't get me wrong, like, I'm blessed in the sense that she's still here. But sitting at Mater Hospital when she was on life support, thinking, if she has another seizure, do I put DNR? Do I put DNR to put her out of her misery?
It's a tough call to make, isn't it?
Like, what do I do here? It's cruel to let her live like that if she continues to have seizures.
Yeah.
But then it's even crueler to end her life based on those seizures.
Yeah. You're pretty brave telling this story. And I'm sorry it makes you upset.
It makes me infuriated, enraged.
I couldn't imagine the emotional roller coaster you're on. Sadness, rage.
Oh, it is a whirlwind. If they had done further investigation on the night of the 20th, this is totally preventable. My daughter would not have brain damage. Even if they had have done and conducted the ultrasound at 8:30 the next morning, they could have potentially saved her the brain damage. The surgeon came out with blood still on his arms from grabbing my daughter out of me and said to the girl's godfather that if they had waited 10 more minutes, that he would be burying me and my daughter. I have 2 other children. 2 others. That I was 10 minutes close to death and not being here.
What are you hoping to get out of this by talking to us today? I'm just assuming that you want this to be exposed. You want more people talking about it.
That's
what I would like out of this
I would
today.
want that, yes. But I also want Tim Nicholls to pull the cotton wool out of his ears and stop flapping his gums from my perspective and come to Toowoomba. Come and meet all of us women and then tell us straight to our faces that what we experienced is okay. There's always an alternative treatment for any woman out there that listens to this. If something is too invasive, whether it be a vaginal exam, whether it be a speculum, whether it be, the CTG around your stomach, if it is too invasive, ask for alternative treatment. Because there's always alternative treatment. And if they tell you that there's not, they're lying.
So that's what you'd say to mums who are considering going there.
And don't be afraid. Do not be afraid to stand your ground and call Ryan's rule. Ryan's rule is not just for children and babies, it's for everyone.